Thousands of people spent their lunch hours outside looking at the skies today. They were there, of course, to see dozens of World War II airplanes fly over the National Mall. That event marking the 70th anniversary of VE, when the Nazis surrendered to the Allies during World War II. And our Steve Machida was near the Air and Space Museum along the National Mall. He joins us now with all of the reaction. Quite a sight in the skies today, Stephen.
Incredible, Scott. Throngs of people down here on the National Mall to watch these World War II airplanes fly over the mall at about 1,000 feet, so they got a really good look at them. There were bombers, fighter planes, even transport planes. Everybody here saying those aircraft did not disappoint.
Out of history and over the National Mall. They swooped in from the west.
Those are my favorites so far.
A majestic celebratory flight 7 decades.
It's a P-38 Lightning.
After victory.
Lots of firepower. It had a 20mm gun and 4 50 caliber machine guns in the nose.
Below the procession of World War II era planes, thousands of people packed the mall.
It's exciting. There's so many people here.
Some in awe of the aircraft.
They're pretty good.
Which played a crucial role in World War II.
Seeing this many airplanes together in one place is it's spectacular.
Also in the crowd,
I'm a retired Air Force guy.
War buffs spellbound, watching these vintage flying machines in action again.
It's a thrill for an aviation nut to see this at all.
Elizabeth Thompson brought a study guide to help her determine which plane did what.
This is the Douglas A-26 Invader.
Oh, Douglas, okay.
While the image of antique air power dazzled those on the mall,
Only in D.C., right?
it also reminded some here of the pride which surged through this country 70 years ago today.
My dad served World War II. He would have loved this.
Now bringing up the rear, one of the stars of this air show, the B-29 Super Fortress, the only one still flying, called Fifi. Now if you want to get a closer look at some of these World War II era aircraft, you can head out to the Air and Space Museum's facility in Virginia this weekend. Reporting live, Stephen Cheetah, ABC 7 News.
And you didn't have to be down on the mall to see the show. ABC 7 crews found cars pulled over all over the place. This is the GW Parkway, where folks were trying to get a glimpse of the show. Those planes came in from Manassas and followed the Potomac down the National Mall, and that meant no flights took off or landed at Reagan National Airport between noon and about 1:15.
However, this plane did come in for a landing despite restrictions at Reagan National. It was part of a formation when the pilot of that vintage aircraft noticed a problem. Suzette Kennedy picks up our team coverage with more on what happened there and the impact it had at the airport.
Well, Allison, it was quite a sight here midday at Reagan National Airport. That vintage aircraft was right out there on one of the runways, just sitting next to those modern aircraft. It was there for about an hour and had a significant impact on air travel here in the nation's capital.
Listen closely and you can hear the sounds of this World War II era plane in distress. The sputtering aircraft was one of more than 50 planes celebrating VE Day with a midday flyover of the nation's capital. Somewhere along the route, the pilot detected a hydraulic problem and ultimately pulled off from the formation just over the Lincoln Memorial. The aircraft landed on runway 119 at Reagan National Airport.
We saw people pulling the plane off of the runway.
These two women were trying to board a Southwest plane to New Hampshire when the TBM Avenger touched down.
So it was a gray World War II small plane being pushed around by several crews that worked here. And it was actually really cool to see.
The unexpected arrival forced an already in place hour-long ground stop to be extended as the plane was towed from the tarmac.
It's delayed for 20 minutes.
Air traveler Mary Meyer was delayed. She was already skeptical about the plane's ability to make the flyover.
I was just amazed at so many 70-year-old planes could fly still.
Philip Freelon was flying U.S. Airways to a meeting in New England, one he wasn't sure he was going to make it to on time.
But I have a 4:30 appointment in Boston, and it's going to be very tight now.
The plane was returned to the airport from which it took off this morning. there were no injuries. Reporting live at Reagan National Airport, Suzanne Kennedy, ABC 7 News.
And of course, today's flyover commemorates the end of World War II. Coming up at 5:45, meet a local veteran who is helping bring that history to life for elementary school students. And then at 6 tonight, watch the reactions of some of those veterans as the planes took to the skies. Scott?